All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in to my Monday afternoon weekly coding stream. For anyone in the chat, just let me know if there's issues with audio or the background sound. I have a couple new things that I'm using to connect, and we had issues last week with really fuzzy sound. It sounded like I was talking into a helicopter. I was kind of embarrassed afterwards, but just let me know in the chat, and I could always try tweaking settings or changing my microphones around. But thanks again for coming, everyone. We are going to everything okay. Thank you. Is it A-Man or AI Man? Elmania, thanks. Yep. Okay, great. Uh, thanks for the sound check there. Today I'm gonna be doing the collection view challenge, and last week I took off. Some people know I started a new job, not doing my business anymore, and went back to full time. And they're still giving me time to do my stream, which I'm excited about. And so this week we're going to be doing the collection view challenge. Last time, one of the last times we did the visual challenge last month. So we'll talk about the collection view challenge in just a second. I'm going to switch over to my desktop. We're getting our follower count up there. I'm up to just about 50 followers, which I'm really excited about. And I just wanted to go through and thank all of the new followers between the last couple weeks. And I'm going to try my best to pronounce your handles. And I'm probably going to butcher them. So we got Damien and Takwit. I'm not going to try the last name in there. Thanks for the follow. Roman, thanks for the follow. Orgbrat, thanks for the follow. 13 Trejitsu or Suju, thanks for the follow. You guys can just laugh at me the way I'm not good at pronouncing names handles. But thanks for the follow. If you come in the chat, please let me know how to pronounce your handle, and I will do my best to remember it. Cleansation, thanks for the follow, and please QQ more. Thanks for the follow. We're getting up there. I'm hoping to hit 50 soon, and my goal is to get 100 before the summer kicks off. So tell your friends, come check out the stream, and we'll code together. And let's head over to GitHub. And we'll get rid of that window because I don't need that anymore. So this is the repository, and if you want to try doing the challenge on your own, I'm going to paste it into the chat. So last month, my friend David from Xamarin did the visual challenge. Now his colleague Paul is doing the collection view challenge, which is really similar. And we're just going to play with the collection view spec, and the idea is going to be, let's clone the repository here, get it running, and start going from there. So let's open up the documentation, because I'm trying to do it the same way I did the visual challenge, where I didn't really look a whole lot at the spec. Like, I know what it is, I know what's going on, but I haven't played with it yet. So this is just first time I'm really looking at it. So we got to make sure that we have our experimental flag turned on. Okay, it's flexible layer. Okay. So we need to populate it with data. By default, we'll display items in a vertical list. However, this is the part that I'm really excited about. Horizontal lists with the collection view. I like doing those simple carousel effects where we can just swipe through stuff. So that's always been something difficult that I'd have to create, like a custom scroll view or renderer to handle that. And then we can scroll an item into view. Okay. So that all makes sense. Let's take a look at the repository here. I'm just going to go ahead and clone this. And so let's go and clone the repository. And was it a collection view challenge? Yeah, that all looks right. So let's head over to Visual Studio, and we can open it up. let's make that a little bigger. And open it up. And the first thing I'm going to do is just make sure everything builds and runs, and then we could talk about the design that I want to do, and if anyone's got feedback for the design that I'm thinking of, we can certainly try different things. And I'll show you my little mock-up that I'm thinking of doing in just a second. But let's get our emulator running. Now let's got to restore that it's running. So, anyone in the chat done the CollectionView challenge yet? Or are you guys just here to watch me fail? That's not really failing, but I always get nervous when I do these. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. People are tuning in to watch me do this. Okay, it's cool. I like it. While that's running, I'm just gonna pull open the docs again and see what's going on here. I'm really interested in the layout here. So CollectionView defines the following properties. We got items layout, sizing strategy. We can do vertical, horizontal. Here's what we're looking for. The code. We all want to see the code. So that's, and it just has a data template in it, and then we can define whatever our data template looks like. And it has an item layout, which would be the same as, that's a template. Okay. Then we have items layout, list items layout. Okay, so we would use the items layout, it looks like, to define if it's, horizontal or vertical. That's easy enough to define it by code. So if we want to do a horizontal list, oh, I got it. So this is just something that's built into the API so we can specify a horizontal or vertical list, or we could create our own items layout to define how that would all render. Same as other layout with item source. Yeah, it's looking pretty. It's looking same. We got our item source. So the only real difference I'm seeing so far is this items layout property. That kind of, I'm not sure if there's more properties on it, and we'll have to look at the API in a second. Oh yeah, well if there's a grid layout, okay, so it gives us kind of control on that. I mean, that all makes sense. That seems, XAML's verbose by nature, but that all seems pretty straightforward. I mean, this is really the only, this section's really the only thing that's different from list view. Yeah, that's cool. Are we still waiting to build over here? Oh yeah, still deploying. Takes a little bit of time. Yeah, that, and then you can do this. This is cool. I'm gonna go blow this up for a second. I had to build this type of layout before using a list view and make each item selectable, and it was a pain. What I ended up doing was I created a list view that had a horizontal stack layout in it, and I had the two items, so it was really just a row with two items in it, but I made it look like it was, like this, and it's just such a pain. And then if you click, you can see the whole row was highlighted, even though it was actually taking you to another page. This stuff is cool that we can easily do that now in the next version of Xamarin. Yeah, I think they made a style as static than just binding a style class there. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing up here. So if we scroll back up to the top here, a little higher up. So this is just, a helper API looks like. So you just call out the, the X::static, and you say, I want to get my list items layout. and then you say whether it's horizontal or vertical list. So that seems pretty straightforward to me. This stuff right here is pretty cool. Are we still deploying over here? What's the holdup? Come on, Visual Studio. Go faster. And then we got the horizontal grid here. Okay. Right to left layout sounds pretty cool. Yeah. Another hard thing to do. So that's cool that we're able to do that. What is this item sizing strategy? I'm interested on that. Item sizing. By default, each item in the collection view is individually blah, 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 blah. So measure all items. Each item is individually measured. Interesting. So we could specify the item sizes are intended to be uniform across all items. So that's kind of interesting. So like if we had a collection of where we had these images like they have here in the screenshot, and they're all different sizes. If we use that uniform, it would constrain them all to be the exact same size. That's a cool feature. I like that. All right, looks like we're deploying. So that is small. I'm struggling reading that on my screen. To make that as big as I can here. Oh, too big. That just a little bigger. I think the first thing I'm going to do is increase the font size in this app. So we'll just slide that over. Yeah, so it says it's collection view. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's make that font size a little bigger so we can all see that. My only critique for you, Paul, if you watch the recording or if you're here live, make the font size bigger so we can all read it. Let's go fix that now. It's probably just my Android emulator running slow. We're running being small with the screen share and the computers to get everything up there. Let's why is that going slow? Let's see. Maybe we just need to let's try that. There we go. Whoa, it's maybe a little too big. Let's lower that font just a tad. I want to go with font size and colors. Oh yeah, I usually do 16, not 18. My mistake. All right, that's better. If you're having trouble reading that on the in the chat, just let me know and I can bump it back up. Okay. Oh, so that is a collection view by out of the box. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, 10. Who uses 10? Let's make that like 16. Let's make that a little bigger so we can see it, read it. Then we'll get some drawings out and show you guys all exactly what I'm thinking of building today. Alright, that's better. Now we can all read that in the back. So this is a collection view, your feedback. So here are 3 general questions. How was the experience of converting your existing list view to a collection view? How is the performance? Is there a specific piece of functionality you'd like to see? I think we're going to focus on that third one there because we're going to be drawing something up from scratch. So let me change the screen over to the webcam. Alright, so I just drew this up real fast, so ignore my chicken peck here, but this is kind of what I want us to build, okay? So we're going to create like a list of images up here and a list of images down here, and they're both going to be horizontal lists that can scroll in either direction. And the reason why I'm picking this type of layout is it's really common in for like, think of Netflix or different video offering apps out there that lets you stream different videos. They usually have some type of vertical list that you're scrolling through that has your categories in the movies that you want to watch. I've actually been requested to build something exactly like that for companies in the past, and while that stuff was web-based, this was it's a common request, and it's always been, I'd always have to use, let's say, like the carousel view plugin or something along those lines to get that working. And if it's supported out of the box with CollectionView, that'd be really slick. So what we're gonna do is let's start building out our general layout for our page, and then go from there. So I'm gonna stop this. I'm just saying I changed the DPI for the emulator. What setting is that? Take a quick look. Would that be under settings? Let's see. Log report, snapshot, screen record. I have no idea where that setting would be. No, I'm just gonna go through them all. Would I have to go into like an Android setting for that? Oh well, we got it bigger now. It's no big deal. Alright, let me go back to my actual screen here. I forgot to do that a lot last time. Excuse me. Forgot to do that a lot last time, and I had no idea. You guys were just looking at me talk while I was programming. Anyways, so let's start building out our layout. Alright, so we got our stack layout here, and let's create some. Let's say the movies thing. So we'll say like action movies, and then we'll have another label, and we'll say comedies. I can spell. I cannot spell comedies. Or, yeah, comedies. Leave it like that. And what we're just gonna do is I'm just gonna go up to IMDb, and we're just gonna grab some images for action movies and comedies, and we're just gonna throw those images in there. So I should be able to just do. And I never use IMDb, so this was a terrible idea for me to pick. I don't know. Should I just be able to type in like action movies? I don't know. We'll pick some to throw in there. Everyone likes Avengers, so we'll just pick the last one there. And I should be able to get like there it is. Can I just save image, copy image address? Is that gonna give me what I want? Yeah, that'll be good. So I'm gonna say image source. Throw that in there, and let's say image source. I'm just gonna throw the same one in there for now, just kind of so we can focus on our general layout, and then we'll worry about doing stuff with the collection view later. So let's save that. Let's hit the go button. Pop open our emulator here. Alright. It's deploying faster this time. We just gotta keep our build and deploy cycles quick. Alright. So that's okay. Let's give this just a general padding. I'm going to say 10.0. We'll say 10.5. So that's going to be 10 on the left and right and 5 on the top and bottom. That's going to be, yeah, that'll be fine. All right. We're just trying to get the general layout before we get too carried away with implementing the actual horizontal list flow. So let that load up. All right, that's better. We got a little bit more padding there. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to make this font size be a little bit bigger. We're going to make it like 16. I should have font weight, make that bold. Make that 16 as well. And I'll make that bold. I could create a style, but we'll focus on the collection view stuff here. See how that looks. And we're still waiting. That looks a little bit better. And then what we could do is we can maybe make these things a little bit bigger, but let's not worry too much about that. Yeah, let's. No, I want to make those bigger. They're not big enough. So we'll just say like maybe height request. And this code's probably going to go away once we start really working with the collection view, but just to kind of give us an idea of what we're looking at here. Let's get the images on the screen, how we want it drawn, and then we'll start building the collection view. And let's see what that looks like. I'm just trying to get those images bigger so we can actually make out the text on it. This actually might make them way too small. Yeah, that's way too small. Let's just double that. We'll make that double. And I'm missing hot reload still, but I hear it's coming. You hear it's coming. Yeah, that's better. Now I can actually make out what we got going on in both of those. And I could start, I'm already imagining it in my head. I can start swiping that in either direction. So this will be good. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a quick screen cap. This. So we'll hold on to it. We'll save that for later so we can have it as a memory of what we're trying to accomplish here. So now we kind of have an idea of what we're trying to do. So turn on my, no, I clicked the wrong thing. I wanted, I thought that was the right thing. I just updated Windows and they changed my ink space. Whatever. Can I do that? Okay, so the idea here is we'll be able to slide that way, we'll be able to slide this way on both of them, and what we're going to end up having is, if I undo all that, we'll have, maybe another one here, another one there, and maybe we'll have like a play button underneath, each one. And maybe we'll have like a uh, little save icon there as well for like watch later. And we could probably throw an arrow on each side. And so, you could either swipe with the gesture, or you could click the arrow and it would start sliding that list along. That's kind of where my head's at with what we're trying to accomplish here. And again, this is a pretty common request, horizontal scrolling lists in Xamarin. So that's what we're trying to do. Let's get out of that. So let's start building out our collection view. So the docs, if I head back over to the docs. There was a horizontal one here, so we can do it like that, but I want to do it this way. So we got this collection view here. So let's go to the code behind. We'll start there. There we go. Okay, so we'll go to the code behind here. I'm not really going to create any. We're focused on the XAML code here. I'm not too concerned about other things. Oh, I am debugging, so let's stop the debugger. Let's do. If you're not familiar with how to do binding contexts in Xamarin, you will learn today. So I'm just doing quick and dirty binding, view model binding. So we're just going to create a property. We're going to initialize our binding context. It's just an object, so we could, put whatever on it. And I'm going to create one called action movies. And that's just going to be an array. And let's go create maybe a model for it. So we'll create a movie model and say that's public. It's going to have a title. Movie might also have an image. And we'll say image source. Movie might also have. What else could a movie have? We'll leave it like that for now. We're going to just head back over here, and I could just start writing up new movie. But I already changed my mind. We'll try and do this the right way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new class, and we're just going to call this I don't know, movie collection view model. Let's practice how we program, as they say. So I'll create something on here called it's of type movie, and it's I'm only making it IEnumerable. Oops, probably should be observable collection, and we'll call it movie. And we'll say that, and I'm going to say action movies, and we'll make that a getter. And we'll do another one here, call it observable collection. It's a movie, and we'll say did I spell comedies? I gotta check it. I gotta look it up. I'm terrible with spelling. Yeah, comedy. So comedy movies, and we'll just add a get into that. And And for those that aren't familiar with observable collections, they're really cool for like when we add a new item, it automatically notifies the view. And I always make them a get because you should never really be resetting your observable collection. You should just be adding, removing, and clearing from it. So if we head back over to our actual page, so now we can just say new movie collection view model. Hit control dot, bring up our IntelliSense. It's saying we should use that guy, so I'm going to do that. Now we delete that. Still do the same thing, but now we got our classes a little bit more structured. And it's going to let us create, an observable collection. Let's get rid of our extra or verbose naming. We'll hit control dot to open up the quick tips. Quick tip. And I'm just going to say new. I'll say a new movie. And now it should stop yelling at us. Why is it still yelling at us? I guess I couldn't do it the way I wanted to. We'll make that a set. That's better. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay. So our first movie is going to be titled The Avengers Endgame. And its image is going to be, which is an image source. So I can say image source dot from URI. And we head back over to actual XAML here. I can just copy the URI and plug that in. We can go to the right page. And it's probably going to be expecting an actual URI. Yeah, it's expecting an actual URI. So I'm just going to do new URI. Perfect. And let's go and look up some other ones. So let's do another Avengers movie. Or yeah, let's do Captain America. I like that one. I should be able to just copy image address. Perfect. So we'll head back over here. We'll add another movie. Say new movie. Say title Captain America. Was it the first Avenger? Say image equals image source from URI. New URI. And let's do one more. Let's do Iron Man. The original Iron Man. We'll copy that image address. That looks good. Typically, you wouldn't just go ahead and copy these image addresses, but for the purpose of this demo, it'll be fine. Or not demo, but like challenge, I guess would be a better thing to call. Because we're doing the CollectionView challenge. Join late. As I type in Iron Collection, not Iron Man. Is there anything special that goes with it? No, it's just Iron Man. I'll say image equals image source from URI, new URI. Alright. Yeah, if you're joining late, I'm doing the CollectionView challenge that they're asking from Xamarin. I'll drop the link back in chat for anyone that's interested. But basically, they're trying to get feedback on their new API, and that's what we're doing today. So we have 3 movies here. That will be enough. So as we scroll through them, we should be able to see stuff. So let's head back over to our actual XAML. And I'm trying so hard in my head not to say YAML for some reason. I don't know why. It just keeps popping in my head. Like, don't say YAML. Don't say YAML. It's XAML. All right, got that out of the way. Let's create a collection view. So I'm just going to do collection view, and I'm just actually looking at the code down here because they already created a collection view for us as kind of a, hey, this is how you get started. So we're going to create a collection view. If we look at the docs, there's an items layout, and that is how we specify horizontal. So let's start up here. We're going to say item source. We're going to say binding, and we want action movies, right? Head over here. It's called action movies. This is where our collection lives. So we come over here, action movies. Perfect. That's how you do your binding. Now we're going to do items layout. Items layout. And I can access the static configuration for this by doing x static list items layout. It's not popping up in IntelliSense, so I'm actually extremely worried right now, but who knows? Maybe it'll work. Horizontal list. Make a liar out of me. I'm skeptical. Always skeptical. Because list items layout would have to be part of one of the namespaces we have. I don't know. I really don't know. We'll figure it out, and let's see how things go. So then we could have a collection view dot items. That was template. Yeah, collection view dot item template. Oh, it's item template. So let's just note here. Items layout is not the same as item template. They are very different things. The item template is where you create your data template, which defines how each cell is rendered. And before we get too carried away with that, I forgot to shut my blinds here, and the sun is going to start blinding me in a second, so I'm just going to take a quick break to do that. Forgot to take care of this before I started the stream. Sorry that we had to take a quick break. There we go, that's better. Tune in today and watch me shut blinds. Sorry about that. Okay, so we were left off at data template. So the data template is going to define how each cell is actually rendered, where the items layout, as far as I'm understanding, is giving additional parameters of how to lay out the entire collection view. So let's start defining how each cell is going to be rendered. If you look over here in one of the docs, they chose to use a grid. You can use grid, stack layout, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to keep it really simple, and we're going to use a stack layout. That's going to be a vertical stack layout by default. It's going to have a label, and it's going to be binding to our action movies. Our action movies is of type movie. So if I slide this over here so we can use it as reference, and we're just really going to make it smaller. There we go. So we have a title and an image. So I can just say title. And then I want to render the image underneath it, and I'm going to say image source binding image. Because now we are at the scope of a single cell, which would be one movie, and I can bind that way. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is I am going to remove this line of code here. And we're going to hit the go button and see what happens. Is there a class called list items layout? As far as I understand, there is. Looking at the docs over here, it says that there is this class called list items layout that we can use to specify a default, horizontal or vertical list, some predefined ones. And that's where I was pulling that right out of the documentation. but nothing is showing up here. Why? Why? Why didn't it work? Is there latency there? No, it's not there at all. Let's just go over to the C# code. So like when I see code like this, there's really no easy way for me to test, oh, static, where is it there? Is it in fact a thing? So what I'll do is I'll just come over here. Horizontal list. There it is. It's a thing. It's a thing. So why isn't our collection view working then? We have action movies. That makes sense. I'm just going to look at what they did down there. So they did their item source that way. They did their data template. Do I need to do like a view cell? No. Binding to dot, because theirs was strings. Okay. Hmm. I am not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another label and say hello world and see if anything pops up. Maybe there's something wrong with our bindings. Let's see. Hopefully we just get 3 hello worlds here. No, we do not. Why? But why? So we have action movies. Did I spell that wrong? No, that's right. See, this is the part that makes me nervous when I do these things. I have no idea why this is not working. I really don't. But let's figure it out. So it's saying here that I can do a horizontal collection. Specify horizontal list, just like that. We have your item template. There's a data template inside of it. Scroll down. Data template, right? Have our grid. We define our grid, and we start plugging in. They did image URL. They did an aspect. And I don't know. Maybe we make a width on this. There was a height request also. Do it 200. Let's see. This is making me nervous. Not as easy as I thought. And I'm starting to think there might be something wrong with our action movies binding. So we might actually. There we go. Okay. Okay, that's better, right? Right? So we got hello world, we got our names. I guess there was a spacing problem where it wasn't drawing it out correctly. So I could probably remove this guy here. That's weird. So they're using grids here. So then I was using a stack layout. Let's see if they have any one of these using an actual stack layout. I'm not seeing. Yeah, they're all grids. Yeah, so that's a problem. I'm curious what this empty view docs are going to show. Display an empty view when data is unavailable. No, that's completely different. Let's go back to layout. Maybe you need to remove the item style. No, the item style is working. We got this all rendering correctly now. Not the item style. The item's layout is working correctly. Item style. Are you talking about something different, or are we talking about the same thing here? All appears to be working. I think the problem was we need to do something like a fill and expand for vertically. And if I remove our width request and height request explicitly, I think maybe that might get us up to draw correctly. Yeah, same. Yeah, so I we'll play a little bit more with the items layout once we get this rendering a little bit more. I want to see. I want to experiment with some of the parameters and the options that we got there. Whoa, we're up to 7 viewers. That's cool. I'm still in the single digits for viewers, so it's cool when I start seeing more and more people show up. I think our all-time best was like 11. Oh no! Now we don't have our action movie showing up anymore. Let's see. Let's just use a grid. That's what the docs have been shown. We're gonna keep it simple. I'm just gonna put a note here that there's issues with stack layouts. Keep track of my problems here. Do collection view. I'll just say stack layout has issues rendering. And I'll say at the 1 hour mark. Okay. Because if you do participate in the collection view challenge and you look at some of the pull requests that are already here, and I'm just going to pick, the first one here. They're going to have some screenshots there, some GIFs. They're going to have stuff. What went well? What didn't go well? And so I just made a not mental note. I wrote down a note here. Let's talk about stack layouts. I would expect the code that we have written here to properly render the text and image, but it's not doing that. So we're going to head over to using a grid. And we'll say grid dot we'll say row definitions. We'll say what is it? Row definition height. We'll say 2-star, and then we'll make the next one say row definition height 8-star. So it'll just be 20% will be the first row, 80% will be the next row, and then I'm just going to say label grid row 0 text binding title, and we're going to say image grid row 1. What is it? Source binding image. Let's see if that renders correctly for us. And rebuild. Excuse me. So still, that's not working. That's concerning. What could I be doing wrong here? So they're doing auto height, and maybe that's what's going on here. So let's see. If I update this to auto, and I update this to auto, if I can't use those star spacing, that's a problem. This has got me thinking. Maybe the stack layout would work if I specified a height request on the image itself. Still nothing. Grid.road 0, grid.row 1. Weird. So let's do like aspect fill height request 200. Let's see what happens this time. I would have expected that to draw on the screen. That's not working the way I wanted it to work. Will this render? No. Wow. That's weird. That's really confusing. 'Cause it's same though. Row definition, column definition. Maybe I need to specify the column definition, but they're using 2 columns. They're only using 1 column. Let's scroll down here. Collection view, data template. And I could try adding the column definition into auto, see what happens there. This just doesn't make any sense. Say width is auto. Oops, we gotta put the slash arrow at the end. Say grid.column will be 0. And do the same thing here. Oops. Save, go. So weird. I'm just gonna look through the docs again while we're letting that deploy out. But this worked, and they didn't do anything crazy. They did a stack layout there. Why? Is it because we're binding to it, maybe? It doesn't make sense why that wouldn't render. Still nothing. Thinking. Maybe what's happening here is it's not rendering, it's not processing the redraw correctly. Okay? So we're performing the binding and we're creating, keep hitting tab, I mean control tab. So we created this observable collection where we plug in our movies and everything. So technically, when the view first renders, we don't have everything bound correct. We don't have everything bound, so there's nothing there. So maybe it's not processing the redraw of the screen when it realizes, hey, I have a thing here. So I would be willing to bet money. If I remove this line of code, and I do collection view dot items, item 3, item source. And what was the syntax that we had down here? Let's stop this debugger. So I should be able to do x array, x array. I'm just going to throw the split. Way I can view the same file in different spots. Split's pretty cool. So we'll do the split there. All right, perfect. So we'll do x array. We'll say type equals x type. X is this. I should be able to do like, what is it, Excel? Maybe we'll call it M for models. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And I should be able to come down here and say M movie. Yeah, put two of those things in there. Now I should be able to do M movie. Oh, I don't know what the syntax for this would be. Or maybe this will work. Test. Then I can do image, which would just be a reference to that particular movie. I almost never program, so I'm just guessing here at this point. But the idea still remains the same. Is I want to figure out if our problem here has to deal with the redraw. So I should be able to hit the go button here, and that's going to draw us a movie that says title with an image. And it built fine, so there's that. And that's half the battle. Just getting our code to compile. I might crash, but I think it'll do something. Still nothing. Let me get rid of that split there. What if I did 200 for the height request? And this is becoming more and more difficult to use. I don't like doing this, where I have to hard code these height requests into my my XAML. This is interesting. Well, now nothing's showing up. Maybe I need to do the width request again? I'm just getting lost in my own code. We might be going down a really long rabbit hole here. Buckle up, everyone. Might be here for a while. But weird. I'm kind of baffled. This should have worked. Let's see what happens. Maybe I need to put the width request in, but I'm not seeing that in any of the other examples. Like, even if we go and take a look at, you know, let's say we're already looking at this pull request here, and if we go and look at the files changed, oh my, they changed a lot. But that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, so in their collection view, they did an item source of items. There's a deployment error. What happened? My emulator wasn't ready. Yeah, it's weird. So weird. And we might need to go back to stack layout because that's the only one we've been able to get to render. I have no idea. I might be missing something on the docs with the different parameters I could put at the root level. And this might all be related to that horizontal list. You know, maybe we need to go. Maybe if I change it to vertical list, it'll just render correctly. Why is it still waiting for my emulator to be ready? It's here. It's running. I could hit buttons on it. Well, when things start going bad, everything goes bad. Let's restart that emulator. Alright. Hopefully it'll start working when we start it back up. So weird. And even looking at the code here, the list items layout class inherits from items layout. Grid items inherit. Okay. Uses the native layout engines. Well, that worked. We're getting warmer, so I'll pull that up again. We got stuff rendering again. Progress has been made. So being the curious developer I am, I'm just going to remove that. And maybe we had something get into a really invalid state. And let's try rebuilding and deploying. But the last shot with the emulator there, it showed the cell very squished. So I think it's not giving itself enough space to render. But let's see what happens this time now. Yeah, so that was very, very squished. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe we need to come up to the parent level here. And we could say, vertical options. Let's say like fill and expand, horizontal options, fill and expand. So this is one of the problems that I've had with other popular horizontal carousel layouts where I would need to be using fill and expand for my vertical and horizontal options to get stuff to render correctly. So let's see, action movies. Still nothing. What is going on? Is it like our labels are still printing out? Our other thing here is still working. This right here is all good. I don't know. So weird. I'm baffled. Okay, we're not gonna get hung up on this. I have a tendency to get hung up on things like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and we'll just plug in the height, and we're just gonna go back using a stack layout because it's a little bit simpler in my opinion than using grids. So I'm gonna say our height request is 250. And our width request is going to be 250, and that's just going to be it. We're going to say I want this much space for each cell, and Paul, if you're on here live or when you watch the video, this confused me. I wasn't sure really how to handle stuff not drawing, and it could just be with the horizontal stuff. All right, let's make sure that draws. I'm expecting this to draw. If it doesn't draw, oh boy, we'll spend more time debugging it. All right, so that's good. It's drawing the test. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this item source. We're trying to get back to the way things were like 30 minutes ago. Say binding action movies, new line. So that should render. And then we're going to try one more thing before I completely write off this weird layout issue that we're seeing here, or screen drawing issue. Okay, that's cool. That is really cool, seeing that actually work. Okay, uh, so I kind of mess around with this a lot, so I'm just going to copy this so we don't lose it. We know this works, right? That's great that it works. But I wonder if we change this to a vertical list, if it'll render. Because when I built these horizontal lists before using different plugins, that's been the biggest problem, is not understand, or the Android or iOS not understanding that we need to draw space there. And the stuff's still being there. It's still there. It's just we don't see it on the screen because we're not allocating the space. Yeah. So you see this? That's big. That's big. We're gonna put a marker there for my video. 119. Put a note. Vertical works. Horizontal doesn't. All right. So we figured it out. There's a problem with the horizontal list where it's not rendering, it's not creating the screen space correctly. So let's go back to horizontal. Horizontal. Delete that line. So weird. All right. Moving along. Not getting hung up. Not getting hung up on stuff. And 250 by 250 for screen space, you know, that's a good amount of screen space to take up like this. I like it. I like it. So let's make this cooler, right? Let's add a frame. I like frames a lot for doing layout. I think they give you some really cool effects on the different platforms. Why is he yelling at me? Because frame is requires a single container on the inside, so we're going to make the frame be the parent here. Stick this at the top level. So then we need to make this have the height request of 250 and the width request of 250, and then we could remove this. That looks right. And I could now do like a, I should be able to do like a has shadow. I like shadows. Maybe I want to do a margin, and we'll say our left margin and right margin is 10 and the top is 0. Can I do like a colors with this? Oops. Comma. What am I? Writing code. I'm writing markup. Maybe we do like a background color. Like a light slate gray. Let's see what this looks like. I'm trying to draw a little frame around each one of our movies, and then once the frame's drawn, give a little bit of background color, some context there, and a little bit of spacing between each frame. Let's see how this looks. Whoa, that is not what I wanted. Progress. It is progress though. I should be able to do padding. We'll do like 0 there. Then each element I want to have a little bit of spacing. Does CollectionView have a spacing? No. I wonder if item layout does. Spacing map. Nope. Not seeing it show up on the IntelliSense. Left. I just look at this. Maybe the width needs to be more. What if we make that 300 and this 300? Let's make our margin like 20. Let's add 10 to the top. Maybe I got this mixed up. It should be left, top, right, bottom when you do the thickness, which is what margin is. We'll see what this looks like. Let's see what it looks like. No. So the padding did its thing, which is what I wanted it to do. Margin's not being added correctly, so let's bring this back to 250 because that looked better. Let's wrap this all in a stack layout, maybe. And then I'll just drop this in. And then I don't need this anymore. And then I could slide this over. Well, let's see what that does. That might work, because sometimes we need to wrap the frame inside of a stack layer. That's why I started. Then we need to put another stack layer inside of our frame to contain our label. You know, better, much better. Perfect. This is what we want. I'm going to update our padding. We're going to do like 3. I just want a small, thin line. Get that thin line there. Too thin. Let's make it like 5, I think. It's going to be what I want. Let's pixel push. As we pixel push here. And yeah, that's better. And then what I could do is we can make our font color here. Sorry, it's text color. I'll just make that white. And maybe make it like 14. Yeah. See how that looks. There we go. That's pretty cool. like that. Maybe we can add some icons to go underneath it. Before we do that, though, let's. I'm actually going to create this data template as a shared data template. So we're going to do content page resources. I'm going to do resource dictionary, data template. I should be able to do key. And we're going to say movie template. And then I should just be able to copy. There we go. Copy this into our resource. And the reason why I want to do this is all of our movies should be rendered exactly the same, no matter where they are in the on the screen. So we got our action movies category, we got our comedy movies category. All that should be rendered exactly the same. There's no difference, so there's no need to duplicate our templates. And this will actually be good to test another feature of the collection view, which is going to be item template, static resource, and we're going to call it movie template. And now I should be able to close that. And I must have gotten rid of that thing down there. So we'll comment that out. Yeah, okay. So nothing should change here. Everything should just work. And then when we build out our comedy movies list of movies, we just use the exact same data template. Code reuse. Perfect. So that all works. So now let's go and get some comedy movies. So I'm just going to go back to our favorite place in the world, IMDb, and I'm going to pick up some comedies. I like some of those Adam Sandler movies, like Happy Gilmore. Let's start there. We'll copy image address for that. And we're going to do 3 movies for that as well. So let me stop the debugger. I'm going to say comedy movies. So new observable collection. We'll say new square brackets. To say that we're creating an array. And then we're just going to put a comma there. And I'm going to say new movie. And we'll say Happy Gilmore. And we'll say our image is equal to image source dot from URI, new URI. Perfect. If anyone wants to throw one of their favorite comedies in, drop it in the chat, and I'll go look it up so we can grab the image from it. Let's do. We'll stick with Adam Sandler, and we'll say. What was that? What's his other one that came out around the same time? Billy Madison. Copy that one. I'll say a new movie. Say title. So, Billy Madison. And we'll do new URI. And let's do one more. And I'll keep with the Adam Sandler theme I got going here for my comedies. And I'll say Mr. Deeds. And we'll add that in here. And we'll say image equals image source from URI, new URI, plug in our URI. Perfect. So now we have comedy movies. And all I'm going to do to start using our awesome new comedy movies is, let's slide this over, is we're just going to do the exact same thing we did earlier. So I'm going to say collection view is going to use And we're going to say item source, binding, comedy movies. And its items layout is X, static, list, items layout. And if you're joining late, this was part of the new CollectionView documentation. It allows us to easily say whether or not we want to do horizontal without creating our own items layout configuration. I'm going to say items template, item template, and static resource, movie template. And I'm just going to get rid of this code down here. Save. So now, when we rerun this, it's going to have two separate movie collection views that we can horizontally scroll through. And there will be action movies, which are from our Avengers franchise that we picked up, and the Adam Sandler movies for comedy movies. And perfect. I like it. All right, so let's open up my PowerShell here. And I'm going to say added action / comedy movies, horizontal carousels to scroll between movies in those categories. That'll be our commit message. All right. Step 1, done. Create our basic layout. Oh, let's remove some stale code. Stale code. Okay, so step 1, let's create this. Step 2, let's figure out how we want to expand upon some of the concepts that we talked about. First thing is I want to get rid of this light slate gray. I don't like that color as much as I thought I was going to like it. So let's see what we got. Oh, beige is always a good color. Let's try beige. And as I see our viewer count jump around a little bit, we're just finishing our first part of the collection view challenge where we actually got horizontal carousel lists rendering on the screen. We're kind of doing like a almost like a Netflix or Hulu screen where we're trying to render out like horizontal movie lists that are carousel focused. Just waiting for this to deploy. I just wanted to change some of the colors around a little bit, make it a little bit prettier. I don't like the light slate gray. Say that 4 times fast. Just waiting for it to deploy. Hopefully we don't run into more emulator. Oh no, I jinxed it. I knew it. I knew it. We were going to start running into emulator problems. It's going to say failed to connect or deploy, something like that. It's not ready. Our emulator is not ready. Not ready. Can I just come in here and do like delete, uninstall? Okay. I might need to restart the emulator. We had this problem about 30 minutes ago or 40 minutes ago, and I just had to restart the emulator. We're so close. It's probably going to make me restart it. Every week I say tune in and watch me struggle with something. So this week, tune in. Watch me struggle with Android emulators. It's just lots of struggling. Cancel. So we're going to reboot that emulator. And I'm just going to shut it down, and we're just going to hit the go button again. And that's what fixed the problem last time. So while that's deploying, the next thing that I want to see is I want to see if there's any type of like infinite scrolling that's included. And like there's a couple additional properties that we have with the collection view that we haven't really explored. We're just using the real basic features of it right now. And I want to see if there's anything out there that we can do. I also mentioned at the beginning that I wanted to add like a play button and a save button, so we might play with adding those in as well. No, that doesn't look good at all. Like, the beige looks okay, but that means we got to change our font color back to black. So let's do that. Uh, Maybe we'll make this one the light slate gray. Yeah, because it'd be cool at this point now if we could do some type of just infinite scrolling. I'd like that a lot. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah. So I'm noticing that not all of these are rendering the full image. They're just kind of fitting them, which is okay. Because everything counts, these cards all look consistent. So let's take a look at docs. I'm just going to delete this line because we're not using that line anymore. We head back here. I wonder, oops, here we go. This is where I want to be. Scrolling maybe. I'm really interested if there's any type. So we can scroll an item at an index into view, scroll an item into view, control. Snap points. Snap points are cool. I looked at that very briefly. Maybe we'll turn on snap points. Yeah, let's turn on snap points. See if those work. So if I remember, snap points. So when you do swipes to initiate a scroll, the end position of scroll can be controlled so that items are fully displayed. Snapping. So where did I put that? Oh, I put that actually on that layer. Yeah, I said earlier we'd play with that a little bit, so let's play with it. So I'm going to come over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this line completely. Oops. Undo. Oh my gosh. What's going on here? There we go. Slash collection view. And I'm going to do collection view dot items layout. The code says list items layout. List. Whoa. That's not showing up. Why isn't that showing up? List items layout. List items layout. I guess the IntelliSense is not there yet, which is fine. It's okay. Oh, there it goes. So we're going to say snap points alignment. And we'll say start. And the first option was snap points type. We'll say mandatory. And I need to say X arguments. This is very verbose. I'm really happy to have those helpers, because if I was just looking at this code with no documentation, I might start losing my mind. It is not usable as an object element because it is not public or does not. It says it. We can do the thing right here. Let's just hit the go button and see what happens. So the whole thing with snapping is, yeah, it's very subtle. But as I slide, I'm not sliding the whole way. I'm doing it with my cursor so you can really see it. So I slide just a little bit and I let go of the mouse and it's going to snap back instead of just leaving that. So it shows me, it really centers what I'm looking at. So I should, snap point alignment, I should be able to do center. And instead of instead of snapping it on the left side of the screen, it should center it. And we'll work so that'll probably only work for the middle one. So we might just double our list of movies just so we have a point of reference. Let's see what this does. So now if I start dragging over to the Captain America, yes, that is very cool. Put our marker down. I really like that feature. I don't like the markup that's required for this. That's all of this is what we needed to add, and we're talking, close to 10 lines of code. Not exactly 10, but now I want to see, maybe we can create a type to encapsulate that. So like maybe if I come over here, and we'll call it we'll just throw it in models. And I'm going to call it snap carousel or snap horizontal list. And this will inherit from, we gotta stop the debugger. This will inherit from, what was it? List item layout. Because I'm trying to think, maybe I can just, yeah, so we'll use Xamarin Forms. Well, let's go investigate. Nope. Horizontal list does not exist in items layout. Maybe. I wonder how I could do that. So our list items layout is Xamarin Forms that list items layout. So I should be able to do list items layout. Okay. We're making progress here. Make that public. There's got to be generate overrides. Ooh, I want to do that. Generate constructor. That's what I want to do. Okay, so that's good. And then if we take a look here, we need to say we have snap points. So we're going to say we're going to do something constructor. So we'll say snap point type equals mandatory snap point, oops, we're back in code. Semicolons are important. Snap point alignment equals center. Okay. On a control tab, not alt tab. And then it has arguments. Items, layout, orientation. Which will be horizontal. Items, layout, orientation, because those arguments is a parameter in the constructor. I don't want that. So we're going to plug that in here and say items, layout, orientation, because this will always be horizontal. And I'm not sure if I'd actually do it this way, but I'm just kind of throwing stuff around and seeing what works, what doesn't work. So models. So now what I could do is, instead of doing that really verbose, I could say items layout equals I do like x static. No. What do they do down there? They say static list item, so I might be able to do maybe I need to do like static. No. What if I do like public static create? And that will return the list items layout. Maybe I need to do something like that, and we'll say return new snap horizontal list. Let's see. And snap horizontal list dot create. Let's take a look in here. I want to see how they defined it. So there's this list items layout. They have this horizontal list, which is a field that returns a static read-only and returns an items layout. Let's see what the docs say for that. To be added. Remarks. To be added. Well, we are talking about preview features. Those docs should probably be updated, but I'm sure they're well aware of that. So it's an items layout. So let's start with that. And it's static. No, because I bet you this eventually extends the items layout. Yeah, there it is. So that's fine. So how would I be able to create a new instance of this in our markup? That I'm not sure. If anyone's got ideas in the chat, feel free to throw it out. So maybe I just need to do like snap horizontal list. The type was not found, but it's in the model's namespace. We got M there. I'm just going to comment that out. Let's see what happens when we try building that. Hopefully the XAML compiler yells at us with a better error message. The squiggly lines went away. Maybe it'll work. Oh, that's cool. Perfect. What I wanted. Nice. I love it. Let's clean up some code. Gotta love when a plan comes together. So now we can update this guy to be m snap horizontal list. And now if we rebuild, they're both going to use that snap effect that we were showing off earlier. Whew. I was sweating there a little bit, like, how am I going to get this to work? But that's cool. So I can go and create my own reusable items layout that I can use across all of my collection views inside of my application. I like that. So let's make sure this works. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to just duplicate our movie list here because that'll be fastest. Do that. Feel free to throw out a movie you want me added to our comedy or action movie list, and I can go and add it in. But that will just be fastest for now. So having it so we have 6 for each will really demonstrate that snap feature that we've been spending a little bit of time implementing. Alright, so perfect. So see how I'm here and I let go of the mouse, it snaps right back. That's super slick. Yeah. That's nice. I like that. Alright, let's stop that. I'll say edit custom items layout. And we'll look through the docs one more time to see if there's any other features that I wanted to take a look at. So those were some pretty cool things. You know, not getting too carried away here. Got some notes on some feedback for the team. Oh, that's kind of cool. We could do some scrolling, some UI effects. Let's see if there's anything cool under data. No. I'm going to highlight it again just in case Paul or David will watch the recording after the fact. My biggest pet peeve on using this was... Oh, where'd it go? There it is. It's up here. On my data template, I had to specify the width and height request. If I remove that, nothing draws. And that should get cleaned up so we don't need to specify the height request and the width request. But everything worked pretty good. I just have a couple minor notes. Some definitely kudos for the snapping effect. But all in all, I think this was a good good completion of the challenge. So again, if you're tuning in late, I'll go back to not the pull request that we were looking at. Promise we didn't cheat. We were just kind of looking at it for a quick reference. I'll drop this in the chat for anyone. But this is the collection view challenge that we've been working on this afternoon, uh, and there's some really cool features coming out with that. I'm really excited about how the collection view is going to be replacing some of the plugins that I've struggled with using in the past, and this will be really cool once it's fully completed with Xamarin Forms 4.0, I believe it's coming out. It's currently available as an experimental feature. If you're interested in looking at any of the docs, I'll drop a link in the chat here as well. But thanks everyone for tuning in and watching me. And I will see everyone next time. I don't think we're going to be doing a stream on Monday. I'm going to be traveling, but next Monday. But I'll make an announcement on Twitter if I'm going to end up doing one later that week. If not, I'll see everyone the following week. And if you need to get a hold of me, you can always find me on Twitter or other social media. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it, everyone. Bye now.